No, that you made some good points there. You made some good points. I want to ask, would you guys date a guy who makes less than you?
Yeah. I've dated guys that make less than me.
Okay. What about you, Jade?
I've done it before.
Okay.
Yeah.
You've done it before, but dislike it?
I mean, I did it because he was funny. Like,
Oh, okay.
I liked he was
Sure,
funny,
sure.
so yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say. Like,
Okay. Well, you guys are in college, so I feel like at this point in your life, finances aren't like a huge motivating factor, probably.
I mean, we're on track to be doctors, so I
Yeah.
feel like that's like we're okay with it. By
I was
now.
just gonna say, like, I want to be a pediatric cardiologist.
Yeah.
So
I want to be a plastic surgeon, so like I'm
Unless-
okay with having
Okay.
my own.
unless they're also like
finances.
an engineer, they're also a doctor. Like, I'm probably gonna be making more than the man on
Yeah.
the.
You're gonna be out earning your
Yes.
future partner, you think? Or well,
Like, unless they're like an engineer or a doctor, like unless they're in like the same career path like
Mm.
I am, I most likely will be.
okay. So you want to be a doctor and you want to be a doctor.
Mhm.
It's kind of, and then you guys want to be OnlyFans girls.
Yeah, not forever. I mean, I'll have like different businesses, like
Yeah, yeah.
investments and stuff like that.
Well, you guys are making good money, so I mean, I think you guys will be probably properly set up, by the time you start moving out of it, I reckon.
It's not about how much money they're making, but like I feel like I want to be with someone ultimately who shares the same values as me, who
Mhm.
like the same family values and like the same values as far as like I want to, even though he's not making a lot now, but he works really hard. He has the potential.
Yeah.
I know it's so outplayed. Oh, I want a guy who has like good potential, but it's true. Like you can't look at like what he is now. You have to look at like the actions that he's taking to set himself up for the future.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So I'll just say this so you guys you sound like very ambitious. You guys want to be doctors, right? Would you be okay being the breadwinner in your relationships?
Yeah, of course. Why not?
Yeah.
Like, why wouldn't I?
Well, because
feel
very
comfortable?
often what happens is when women start becoming really successful, their potential pool of partners starts to decrease because a lot of women want to date men on their level or higher, whereas a guy who's an attorney or a doctor, he'll date the barista. He'll date a chick that works at Chick-fil-A. Like, for example, when you're a doctor, are you going to date a guy who works at Chick-fil-A? Probably not.
No,
if he's
but
attractive,
I'd say that that's kind of
Maybe bangable,
bangable.
but dateable.
Painful, not dateable.
I think that's
Is
a
he gonna make my kids cute?
Bye.
Okay. Well, I mean, I guess that could be a benefit, but
No, but all seriousness, like, yeah, I would be fine with that.
I
also
mean,
have to,
you
like,
say that now, but when you're a doctor and you're surrounded by a
I'm
bunch of
also-
other male doctors.
I mean, yeah, that you have to think about that too. Like, realistically, like me meeting someone that I would stick with, like at a Chick-fil-A, like the odds of that versus like someone I'm working with like every single day, like
Mhm.
possibly having chemistry with at work, like the odds of that are like
right.
way different.
But
than, like,
here's the difference.
if I was at like a social and like it was a bunch of men and one happened to be a Chick-fil-A worker and one was a doctor, but I didn't know, and I
Mhm.
got along with the Chick-fil-A worker better, like of course, like whoever I have more chemistry with, whoever I get along with better, whoever I see being like a better partner in life, like I would of course, like, it doesn't matter. Like if I'm making enough to take care of both of us, like so be it. Good on me.
Would his pride let him like be taken care of though? Because I think that's the thing with like that makes the relationship imbalance is like a woman is like okay with being the breadwinner, but then the guy, his ego can't let him stay at home and take care of the kids.
I mean, there's definitely guys that probably would have their ego or pride involved, but I think it's more so the woman's just going to be like, this guy's a fucking bum. I want to date a guy who's...
There are stay-at-home dads. It's
It's
like
rare.
Yeah, I mean, if
more
I'm a
and more.
doctor, like I'm gonna need someone to take care of the
Yeah.
kids. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess the point I guess, but I don't know. I think by the time you are in that really success, and by the way, good for you, pursue it, like be successful.
thank
But
you.
I do think that your pool of potential partners will shrink
Oh, definitely. Like I don't.
when you
disagree
become more
with you there.
successful.
I don't disagree with you there. Yeah.
Whereas for men, their pool of potential partners increases as they become more successful and get more money.
Right.
Because most women don't want to date down. Most women. They want to date across and up socioeconomic hierarchies.
And would you say that's because of kind of like a power dynamic per se. Like men want to date down because they want to probably trap a girl.
Well,
I mean,
let's be
for real here. Like
entrap?
Yeah, like financial abuse is a real thing, and so you have a lot of older guys. They scour the streets for, say, like us college girls who are like, they're working towards their futures or whatever. And then you have this old guy. They sell them this dream, pretty much. Also, I'm from Vegas, so this is pretty much big there. That's why I have
the truth comes out. Okay.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah.
Forgive me, if you will. But it's like, financial abuse is a huge thing. And so it's like the power dynamic, holding financial power over someone is a huge thing, because finances pretty much push every desire that we pretty much have in this world. If it isn't sexual, it's probably financial. So it's like most women want to date across and up because they don't want to potentially be financially abused, because if you have your own money, there's less chances of you being financially abused. However, it's like, oh, you have this guy, he's a big CEO, he's a lawyer, he's gonna date this 20-year-old guy and he's 60. Why? Well, she's fresh out of college, if anything goes wrong, she's probably gonna stay with him. Why? She has no money, she has nowhere else to go. It's pretty much just a huge power dynamic that people are working towards instead of true love. True love, I say true love with quotations because that's like the ideal, you feel.
I mean, well, okay, you said there was a lot there, so I don't even know where to begin with all that. Okay, so there's the age gap stuff and then the power dynamic. When I say women like to date across and up, a broke woman could want to date, like, I'm trying to understand, like
what do you mean?
Where you were
like, if
a
we're
woman
talking
with
about
her own money,
right.
who's totally financially secure, she still wants to date across and up. So even in that scenario, it's not even like a power dynamic thing.
Because I mean, also financial abuse goes the same way. You could be like, oh, this guy, he's asked me for money always, all the time, and now I'm chasing his checks and his bills because he has no way else to pay for them. And so now he's gotten me entangled in his debt, and I'm trying to chase that off.
Wait, so is it only abusive from the man's
side? No.
side?
I'm saying it could go both ways.
Okay,
I have this young girl in a relationship, and she's like, oh, can you pay off my car bill? And next it's her rent, and now it's this, and that's that. Financial abuse works both ways, but it works on the upper echelon and then the lower echelon, right? So it can go either direction.
Well, the reason I asked if you were trying to frame it from it's only men that are abusing, because the two examples you gave were an older guy with a younger woman who she was broke and he had a lot of money and he was taking care of her.
Well,
you said that was abusive from the man's direction to the woman's, but in the scenario you also gave, when the guy is broke, you said it was abusive for the guy to be relying on the woman, even though that's the exact...
It depends on context, obviously. These are just very black and white things. Like, obviously there's gray mixed into there too. Like, nothing can ever be black and white. But those are just kind of the base models of what I was trying to explain to you, was that sometimes like these little situations, these hypothetical kind of questions that we kind of place upon ourselves is really, like, they're really hard to answer because there's different things that we need to go back and forth in. Sorry, I don't mean for the chat to be like, oh my God, like, she sucks. Like, get her out of here, Brian. Like,
No, it's good. So, men, it's not about a power thing.
You don't think so?
No.
No? What do you think it's about?
Well, I mean, there's a few different things. So you brought up age gaps, for example. So, what's it called? So with the whole age gap thing, I mean, men want to date younger women because for, I mean, a myriad of reasons. One of them is they're more physically attractive. So, I mean, and that applies to both men and women. As you age, you become less physically attractive over time. Men obviously care a bit more about that than women do. So that's a factor. It's also just evolutionary psychology reasons. There's a biological reason. So men look for indicators of youth and fertility.
Right.
So younger women.
I think there's also
because
just a difference
because once you hit like 35, the likelihood of you getting pregnant starts really diminishing.
I thought it was like 40, really.
Well, I mean,
40,
35,
45.
once you hit
Yeah.
35, that's when you start getting into high risk pregnancy territory. There's a greater likelihood of miscarriage, greater likelihood of birth defects starting at 35, and it gets worse and worse as you age. And then once you hit 45, the likelihood that you're going to even be able to get pregnant is pretty minuscule.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're a 40-year-old guy, you're going to be looking, if you're a 45-year-old guy, you're going to want to date a girl who's in her late 20s or early 30s. You're not going to want to date a girl who's your age, who's 40, if you want to have kids and have a family.
Mm-hmm.
So for evolutionary reasons, for biology reasons, men are attracted to younger women.
Okay.
I think men
Is
are
there
also
any-
more physical and women are more emotional, like traditionally.
What do you mean, like care
Like-
more about looks and stuff?
Men? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, there's some pretty sensitive men.
No, yeah, I'm just saying like
Pisces man.
Jade, I know you're dying to come in on this one. I got the sense that you wanted to say something.
Oh, what?
Oh,
I
did
lost
I-
my train of thought.
Did I misread that? Okay.
No, I was gonna say something, but I like.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
You know, like you talk about men dating down, but that's just like financially. It just shows you the difference between like the values that men have versus women. Like men might date someone with like a lower income, but she's probably going to be a lot younger and prettier, right? So
Yeah.
that means that he probably values more superficial things, whereas women, like we hold
Money
in
isn't.
high regard, like stability. So we want someone to match us on that level as well. So it's like really like what you value. So it's not like a man's not going to date someone who's a girl who's broke and that he thinks is like ugly and like really overweight. There's
Sure.
like a give and take there. So
Yeah.
I don't think that assessment of like, oh, men date down and women date I don't think that's like a really fair point that you're making, like a valid
Well,
point.
it's an established societal and cultural thing that women date up, women marry up.
Well, so do men. Men also financially though, right? But like men marry up as far as like, okay, like if a man dates a girl who has less money, she makes up for that with like her youth, her beauty, whatever it may be. So it's not necessarily like men are dating down.
They're dating down socioeconomically.
Yeah.